Here's a house in regional Queensland that my wife and I were considering purchasing late last year. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, double garage house in a fairly nice neighbourhood. The price was listed as contact agent, so we clicked on the get in touch button and sent a message asking the agent how much. We noticed that the agent was not one that we recognised, Easy Sell Rent. So I did a quick search online and found out what it was all about. Skip the commission and save. Forget the middleman and save thousands in commission. We'll get your property on Australia's most popular real estate websites. Okay, so basically it's a service where sellers can sell their own house without the need for an agent by advertising through Easy Sell Rent, which uses the 2 biggest real estate websites. So anyway, I got an SMS back from the agent, obviously the owner, saying, "Hi, I'm now looking for an offer of $485,000 ONO. Cheers." I replied, "Thanks, I'll talk to my wife." At the time, our budget was fairly limited, much less than $400,000, so we never made an offer. However, recently, just last week, we saw that this house was still on the market. So it's been on the market for a good 6 or more months. We figured that the agent, the owner, was having a tough time selling. If you've seen the news of late, you'll know that Australian house prices are through the roof. It's never been an easier time to sell. However, this guy still couldn't sell his house. What was wrong? So I thought I'd send him another text. "Can we please inspect so-and-so address?" Dated 5 months later. He replied, "Price has now changed to $570,000 and above. Still want to inspect?" I felt like saying F off, but I was a bit more courteous. "Sorry, that's out of our price range." Anyway, this house is still on the market. I guess at least part of the reason is that he's not using an agent and maybe people are a bit hesitant to deal with the owner directly. Or it could just be that he's a greedy son of a gun. What are your thoughts? Here's another house that we looked at recently. Again, no price. Offers to purchase. Again, it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, double garage house in an equally nice neighbourhood. We arranged an inspection and went to have a look at it. We quite liked it. It was pretty tidy for a 26-year-old home. We did our research and looked at its sale history. We saw that it sold just last year for $431,000. Our first question was, why are they selling it so soon? I'll answer that shortly. We also checked the estimated value range and found it to be worth between $460,000 to $530,000. So we thought we'd push our luck and make an offer of $450,000, just a little bit below that range. Here's the letter that my wife wrote to the agent. "Hi, you met my husband and I earlier today at so-and-so address. We would like to make an offer of $450,000. Could you please present this to the owner and let us know what they think? Kind regards, my wife." Anyway, a day later, we got a reply. "Hi, I hope you are well. Unfortunately, they would like to list the property offers from $600,000. Would you be interested in making another offer? Thank you. Kind regards, the agent." I think you can guess our reply. Basically, a lot more courteous version of what's shown on screen. So back to my question, why are the owners trying to sell a house they only bought last year for $431,000? I think they saw an opportunity to make a killing. They saw the price estimates and decided to add an extra $70,000 to the maximum and try to get more than $600,000. I think they've confused regional Queensland for inner-city Brisbane, or perhaps Melbourne or Sydney. Anyway, I think you can see that the asking prices in regional Queensland are insane. Somebody has lost their mind. Here's another house in a fairly sought-after suburb. It's only 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, single garage. We went to inspect it maybe a month or 2 ago, back when house buyers were truly insane. There were about 40 or 50 people lined up wanting to look at the house, all socially distanced, of course. When it came to our turn, I asked the agent at the door if I could look inside the garage. She said no. I said, "Why not?" She said, "The owners don't want you to look in there." Then I said, "Well, how can I make an offer if I can't even look in the garage?" She replied, "Well, we've already had quite a number of substantial offers last night." "But this is the first open day, isn't it? Do you mean they made offers without even looking at the house?" And yes, they did. A number of people made offers based on these pictures alone. I couldn't believe it. What the hell are people thinking? And this has been true over the last few months across Australia. I've read stories from agents saying people are making offers without actually physically inspecting the property. I just can't understand this insanity. Ray White Paddington real estate agent Judy O'Day said fear of missing out drove buyers to skip open houses and auctions to beat the competition. Stock is tight at the moment and buyers will do whatever they need to do to secure property. I had a situation where I sold a house to a gentleman and at the end of everything he said, "My wife hasn't seen the house. Can she look through on Wednesday?" I nearly dropped the phone, but I knew they were looking and were desperate. Well, it's not all grim news. According to some news articles, there are some signs that Australia's housing market is starting to simmer, at least according to an REA Housing Market Indicators report. Looking at the report, which was released this month and authored by Cameron Kusher, Director of Economic Research, we can see that weekly for sale searches have fallen dramatically over the last few weeks. This is a measure of the volume of visitors to the realestate.com.au website searching for properties for sale, with search volumes lower across all states and territories. Email inquiries to agents are also on the way down for all property types. Whether this is a good or bad thing for first home buyers like myself, I do not know. Time will tell, I suppose. Anyway, that's my little story today about crazy regional house prices. Let me know your thoughts below.